Someone shooting at Albuquerque police led to a major scene in the North Valley overnight, and it tops your news this morning.
That's right. Police say as detectives were conducting an investigation in the area, someone started shooting at them and then took off. We want to show you a live picture right now from the scene. This is at 12th and Griegos, where police are still there. They're expected to be out there for quite some time. What we know, according to police, is that the suspect fired a high-profile rifle at them. There is no word on how many shots were fired at police. We do know that officers did not fire back at the suspect, they say. Detectives found the suspect a short time later dead from a self-inflicting gunshot wound, they say. No officers were hurt.
Firing not only at police, but just randomly with a high-powered rifle, it's a dangerous situation. Luckily, no innocent civilians were hurt, no officers were hurt, and it appears the only subject that succumbed to any injuries was the individual.
As I mentioned, police are still investigating. They do expect to be out there for most of the morning, so you'll want to avoid that area of 12th and Griegos. No word on who the suspect is just yet, but be sure to stay with us. We will have the very latest for you both on air and online at KRQE.com. In other news this morning, the fate of APS Superintendent Winston Brooks still hangs in limbo this morning.
Yeah, last night the board talked privately for 5 hours but did not make a decision. Remember last week, the school board president announced she had hired a private attorney to investigate Superintendent Winston Brooks. This after a, quote, serious personnel issue was uncovered during a private session last month. We have learned the investigation centers around Mr. Brooks' wife. Last November, he called 911 after a fight with his wife, or maybe an argument is a better way to put it. Brooks told the operator things got physical and that his wife was very angry with him. The 911 call was made on the last day of Mr. Brooks' 3-day suspension from APS after his controversial tweets about Public Education Secretary-designate Hannah Scandera. Winston Brooks has been the superintendent at APS for 6 years. Well, a man here in New Mexico is accused of touching boys, or was accused of touching them back in the 70s when he was a Boy Scout leader, is now facing a new round of allegations. 3 boys, who are all younger than 11, say Larry Strain here either touched them or tried to touch them inappropriately when he was a Boy Scout leader. Now a 4th allegation comes from when he is a volunteer at the Alamogordo Space Museum's Kids Department. He has since been fired. Otero County Sheriff's deputies have searched Mr. Strain's home and say he lured kids there. Deputies are not saying if they found anything there or what they found, but they do tell us they found a list of young boys' names of kids they think Strain could have abused. Deputies say Strain is not talking, but his brother says he is innocent.
The man accused of using a squirt gun to spray kids with a bodily fluid is headed to trial. He was in court yesterday for a separate child rape case where he pleaded not guilty. Last month, Kevin Jaramillo was back in custody after authorities discovered child pornography on his computer. Investigators say they recognized a girl from some of the pictures on the computer and tracked her down. She told police Jaramillo approached her in a park in the Northeast Heights and said he was doing a project for UNM. She says he lured her into an arroyo where she claims he raped her and took nude pictures of her. Both cases were addressed in court yesterday. Jaramillo will go to trial in February for the squirt gun cases. Police in Carlsbad are still investigating after a shooting leaves 2 people dead. Police say it began with an argument at a party early Monday morning on 6th Street. The fight ended 2 streets over on 8th, where officers say someone opened fire. 28-year-old Alex Garcia of Loving died at the scene. 20-year-old Deshaun Minor of Carlsbad died at the hospital. No arrests have been made. Anyone with information is urged to call the Eddy County Crime Stoppers line. You can remain anonymous.
Well, 5:35, police in Farmington are also asking for your help to find a missing man, a young man who could be in danger. Nathaniel Shear is just 18 years old and was last seen leaving his home at 10 Monday morning and has not been seen since. Officers say the teen has a medical condition that can affect his safety. He was wearing brown khaki cargo pants and shoes with black toes. Please call Farmington Police if you've seen him. One of Albuquerque City Councilors wants to make some big changes to the city's DWI forfeiture rules.
The changes would make it easier for the owner of a car that was driven by a repeat drunk driver to keep it. Right now, if APD catches a repeat offender driving drunk again, it can seize the vehicle even if it belongs to someone else. Counselor Diane Gibson says some of the changes are because of a recent court decision and ongoing litigation. In November, a district judge ruled the city's forfeiture law was unconstitutional. Gibson's proposal addresses some of the concerns by strengthening what is referred to as innocent owner defense.
I want it to be as effective and as fair to everyone as possible.
Gibson's bill would allow APD to use seized vehicles as bait cars or perhaps undercover vehicles. The bill would be heard in about a month. Right now, APD says it seizes between 110 and 150 cars a month on average.
Well, the Department of Energy says it wants to get things back up and running at the WIPP as soon as possible. The nation's only storage facility for low-level nuclear waste stopped operating after a leak back in February. U.S. Energy Secretary Ernest Moniz was in Carlsbad yesterday and says the Department of Energy will stick with the community if the community will stick with the agency. Investigators say the leak came from a barrel of waste from Los Alamos National Laboratory, but they've not confirmed exactly what caused it. Secretary Moniz says that while the agency hopes to have a plan to reopen WIPP by the end of September, it could be a year to 18 months before the plant can actually reopen. Well, UNM says crews are working around the clock to get more than 24 buildings damaged by flooding up to par for the first day of classes next week. Last week's rain left at least 30 buildings damaged, including the Centennial Library. Some classrooms can't even be used right now, but UNM says they will be ready for Monday. Insurance adjusters are also looking at all the damage. It'll probably cost tens of thousands of dollars to fix everything.
If you want to visit Taos, then now is the best time to do so. According to USA Today, Taos is the best place to visit this month. The paper says the town has everything, including the perfect temperature and sunny days. There are several outdoor activities like hiking in the nearby Sangre de Cristo Mountains. USA Today also recommends many galleries and restaurants. Taos has been featured in other recent lists like Yahoo's America's Coolest Desert Towns. It also made the list of CNN's best places to experience Native American culture.
Sure is a special place up there. Whitewater rafting is incredible. All right, if you're in the market for a job in healthcare, today could be your lucky day. Carrington College is hosting a career fair from 11 this morning to 1 this afternoon. It's on the campus on Manal Northeast in Albuquerque. There will be representatives from several healthcare companies in the area. You know the deal. Please dress professionally and bring your resume.